Let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
That's the signal. Go, 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 go.
Six.
It's beautiful. Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude.
Wake up and hit the ground running. It's The Rush, presented by Willis Auto, with Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bringing you raw, unfiltered, and unapologetic talk about sports, life, and everything else that matters. No filter, no fluff, just The Rush.
You know, we talk a lot about trust on this show, and that's why we are proud to be powered by Willis Automotive. They built their reputation by doing things the right way. Fair pricing, great service, and treating customers like people, not transactions. Whether you're buying today or just starting your search, start with willisauto.com. You'll be glad you did. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Rush Radio Show. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, start leaving your comments in the comments section. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com, the Rush Radio Android app, or the TuneIn app, thank you so much. And, of course, follow us on our social media channels. Good morning, Ross Peterson. What's going on?
What's up, buddy? Nothing. Wild
You're
night.
just like a grandpa today, man. You commented.
And I feel like a dirt. It's cold in the house. You know what I mean? It's cold outside. It's not colder in the house. It's cold outside. So I get up and I bundle up and I just throw on the first hoodie. And I love this hoodie. But then I sit down and you're like dressed nice. You have meetings today. You're doing important stuff. Here I look like I'm doing laundry today.
I'm a corporate man is what I am. I am a corporate man. You know, I got up. I'm like, oh, I've got to shower today. Oh, I've got to shave today. I have to do this at like 4 a.m. Usually I throw on a hoodie. Usually and I can get away with it. But today I was getting dressed today and I'm like, I am such a grandpa. There would have never been a time that I would have wore a sweater like over a button-up shirt. Now I'm like, oh, I'm acting my age.
A little bit of a Mr. Rogers thing going there. A little bit of a Mr. Rogers thing.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Would you be mine? Won't you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor?
One of my favorite. Is it called avant-garde, Travis? What does that mean? If I say avant-garde, what does that mean?
It sounds pretentious. I will say that. It sounds very pretentious.
An experimental or genre of work that the artist has created, usually an aesthetically innovative. So something that's weird. When you go watch art and it's intentionally weird, that's called avant-garde, okay? A friend of mine named Mark Von Onen, who was, in my opinion, wrote some of the most brilliant jokes I've ever heard a local comedian write. My favorite one that he had was, you wouldn't know this by looking at me, but I'm dyslexic. And a lot of people think, oh, that's not a big deal. You just can't read that good. But it is a big deal. Simple things that make sense to you are very confusing and dangerous to me. Like a light switch. To you, it makes perfect sense. To me, the options are off and no! That's funny. It's a good joke.
It is a good joke. It is a very good joke.
I saw him do a performance once. It was avant-garde, and it was about Mr. Rogers. Okay? Now, he was the last performer. He was supposed to get off. You know what I mean? It was like he had like a 5-minute set. And then he had to get off stage because it was like a middle of a contest type deal. He was filling time, right? And it was the most brilliant thing I've ever seen somebody do for a 5-minute filler. He got up and they had just had the Mr. Rogers documentary. Okay. And he said, you're going to love this. This is very aristocrats. Okay. He said,
ooh,
you're going to love this. He's like, did you guys see this new Mr. Rogers documentary? I loved Mr. Rogers growing up. I found out some things about Mr. Rogers during the documentary that I didn't know. I didn't know Mr. Rogers had kids. He had 3 kids. I didn't even know that. So that means at least 3 times, Mr. Rogers came home. He took off his sweater. He took off his shoes. He took off his pants. And he railed Mrs. Rogers. And I want you to think about it because it ruined my childhood. Thinking about it ruined my childhood. And then he goes in, I want you to think about it. I want you to think about Mrs. Rogers' legs in the air. And he then goes into great detail until everybody in the theater is uncomfortable. Everybody is like, okay, we get it. And he's screaming at people, it ruined my childhood. It ruined my childhood. And then by that time, people are booing. He's off stage and the show continues. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. I thought it was brilliant. I am also one of the people that booed him off the stage, but I did go up to him later and say, most brilliant thing I've ever seen somebody do.
Gilbert Gottfried doing the Aristocrats joke at, was it a roast or was it one of the award shows, was one of the best performances of the Aristocrats joke. If you don't know what the Aristocrats joke is, we're not going to do it here. No. But all I would say is Google Aristocrats joke or even the Aristocrats documentary. There's a whole documentary on the way that joke has been presented, and it's filthy. It's downright filthy. Yeah. But we're the Aristocrats.
I'm glad we thought of that because I was getting we're starting the show, and normally as the countdown's fired up, that's when I pull up my Instagram, my Facebook and Twitter and share our links for us, right?
Oh yeah.
And it pulled up Facebook, and I saw stuff about my friend yesterday. So I was getting wispy as we went on the air there. I was getting a
little teary-eyed.
Travis gave me the best advice yesterday, and I followed it.
For the first time in his life, he followed advice that I gave him.
About the third time I've followed your advice.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
I can come up with a couple. I can come up with a few big ones. We got really, really, really sad news yesterday, and that was that one of Audrey's best friends, Frankie, her mom passed away. Sam Vasquez was only 37, I think is what I saw on Facebook this morning. Frankie had spent the weekend with us because her mom was not feeling well and was in the hospital, but we had no idea it was that bad. And so
went quick, went very fast.
Went very fast. And I'm learning more about Sam because of all these awesome Facebook posts that her family is putting up about what an awesome lady she's always been. And I know her through her kid. Our daughters are good friends. And my daughter doesn't have a phone, and so her friends will text me or her mom to reach out to her. And they reached, and I got a text yesterday morning while Audrey was still asleep. And we were going to have a fun day yesterday. We had breakfast in bed planned, and we were going to go over and hang out with Courtney, and we were going to do some fun stuff. And so I called Travis because I didn't know how to handle it. I wasn't sure how do I wake up my daughter and say, hey, here's the really incredibly tragic news. And Travis had a couple of brilliant pieces of insight, Trav, that I've shared with a lot of people. Number one is, you said right away, okay, this is going to be a lot harder on you and the other adults and people that are older than the kids. And obviously that's my biggest concern here is Sam's. She has 3 kids. 3 wonderful kids.
And she's 37, so 37, yes.
Mid-30s. So they're young kids. Audrey's good friend is her middle child. So that's why it's hard for parents to hear that. You know what I mean? Because we know what we if you pick up on all those things, damn, it's a lot of lost stuff there. Darn it. But Travis said right away, it's going to affect you more. And he said, second of all, don't tell her this morning. Don't tell her before breakfast. Don't tell her during breakfast. He says, get her out of the house. He said, I know this sounds like Jerry Maguire, but go someplace fun. Go someplace that she enjoys being. And then just say, hey, I've got some really bad news. You remember how Frankie stayed with us this weekend because her mom was in the hospital. Things didn't go well. And Frankie's mom passed away. And then, maybe even say, now you want to go get something to cheer you up. I thought that's actually kind of manipulative, but I like it. Travis
100% manipulative because
manipulator. Good manipulator. Yeah. It's great advice, dude. Great advice.
Yeah, I think the advice was, I said, don't spoil the breakfast in bed because she won't comprehend it. I said, have the breakfast in bed, have your good morning, put her in a good mood. I said, take her to the mall, go on a walk, take her to a place and buy her something, and then sit down over an ice cream or a coffee and have a little life talk. And
It's actually what we did. It's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
We went to, I'm getting teary-eyed, man.
So that, and so she took it and rebounded, and you're going to be okay, bud. You're going to be okay. But yeah, so we don't mean to start the show on a downer, but that happens. I mean, it is, you never know when it's your time. Because when she dropped her off, she's like, I'm going to the hospital. I have RSV, right?
Yeah. She said I got some blood work out of whack. And then next day, she kind of sent me a funny text on Saturday. It was like, hey, it's all right. Frankie hangs out. They need me to stick around till I can breathe like an adult.
When we, Greta was in the hospital on yesterday morning or
oh, no, on her birthday?
No, it wasn't yesterday morning. It was the day before. We had to, my daughter doesn't produce cortisol, so she has a really rare thing, and I don't even know what it's called. My wife knows, but there's certain times we have to take her to the hospital, right to the ER, and right away they were like, "Hey, we got really bad RSV and flu going around." So they swabbed her for COVID, they swabbed her for the flu, they swabbed her for RSV and all that stuff. She didn't have any of it. Well, we knew she didn't. We knew what she was going through, but they still had to do their due diligence. But they even said in the hospital that it was pretty bad cases going around, and it can do damage quickly, especially if you're not in shape or if you're overweight. And
what is cortisol?
Cortisol is it keeps you. It's kind of like some energy, Ross. It is. Your body naturally produces it.
It's a stress hormone.
Yeah.
Produced by the adrenal gland.
Yeah.
Essential for regulating metabolism, blood sugar, Wow.
Yeah. And so her body does not produce it. She has to take several pills a day and will have to for the rest of her life. If she's in a car wreck, she has a bracelet that she wears that says, hey, I have this. You need to get me to the hospital. I have a letter that if we go to the emergency room, that we go ahead of everybody. We go ahead of everybody. Like when I walked into to Children's the other day, handed them the letter, boom, right in. Everybody's waiting in the waiting room. I'm like, see y'all. You guys sit here and wait. I go ahead of you. That's how bad it is. Not saying it's fair, but that's how serious it is. I would say my daughter's probably the only one. It's very rare.
That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
That's something she's getting, and that's why we're scared. This happens right before she goes back to Savannah. We're like, Anjanette had to give her a shot before we got it. So Anjanette's got there with a syringe, pulling out the stuff. Has to give her a shot of cortisol just to get her regulated.
Dude, I'm so lucky. I've so far avoided all that stuff.
Yeah.
I've never had to give myself shots of anything.
You're not taking the GLP-1s. You're not taking the Ozempic. I mean, look at you, you're shivering it,
right?
Shivering into nothing.
I think the most uncomfortable thing I've ever done to myself was do an enema.
You did an enema to yourself?
Yeah, you've never had to do one of those for a couple.
I've never had to do an enema. I've never been backed up to where, some of the Hollywood types, you weren't back.
I had to have tests because I had diverticulitis. It's a bowel disease, and there's only one way they find it. They got to shove a camera up there.
I mean, I've had the colonoscopy, but they didn't give me an enema.
Yeah, that one you drink stuff and it flushes you. This was 1990, 91. I don't know if this is pre-detox liquid. I have no idea. I can tell you for sure I did an enema.
One of the weight loss things in Hollywood was to do a coffee enema where they would flush your bowels with coffee. You would have like the caffeine rush. I can't imagine throwing, Folgers up my ass.
One of the things one of the party tricks my buddy Matt Flagg likes to do is to butt chug beers, but I've never seen the coffee enema.
Oh, butt chugging beers. It's the Rush Radio Show, folks. We're butt chugging beers.
Welcome to the first 15 minutes of
yeah.
where we talk about. By the way, speaking of medical stuff, I'm so sorry. I feel like we're chasing the rabbits this morning, but thank you for letting me do that. Thank you for letting my brain clear up for a minute.
You're welcome.
Travis, when you were a kid, tell me why everybody got their appendix out.
Well, mine was ready to burst, so I had my appendix taken out the day after Easter in, I forget what year it was, but I was having a major appendicitis attack. I was puking all over the place, and my mom just thought I ate too much Easter candy, and she was yelling at me. She was yelling at me the whole time. God damn it! You ate so much sugar. You deserve this. I'm trying to paint the house. I remember this, and I'm laying in my room going, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. They take me to the hospital or take me to the doctor, and Dr. Olson is no longer with us. But I remember this, and he's like, you need to get him to the hospital. And they get me there, and they do this thing. They're like, his appendix is getting ready to burst. We need to get him into surgery now. And I remember being on the gurney, and my mom's like, I'm so sorry for yelling at you. I didn't mean to yell at you. I'm like, whatever. So I got I don't have tonsils, I don't have an appendix, and I don't have a gallbladder. So I've been under the knife quite a bit. Yeah.
Half the man you used to be.
Half the man I used to be. Shows you how many body parts you really don't need.
Well, it's funny that you bring it up that way, because when I was a kid, I remember hearing that about the appendix. Right? I remember hearing when I was a kid, like, the appendix is a useless organ anyway. Had you ever heard that?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, the appendix is not a useless organ. Apparently, in the last couple of years, Trav, they figured out what it does.
It took them this long to figure out what the appendix does.
I'm not joking. I just saw this thing the other day, because I was still under the belief until maybe yesterday that the appendix was essentially a useless organ. You know, just something the body had laying around in case you wanted it gone. And then when it caused problems, it had to go away. No, it's got like a purpose. It does stuff.
I mean, it's not as valuable as the heart. It's not as valuable as the lungs. It's not as valuable as the pancreas. It's not as valuable as the kidney or livers.
And like when it's in your position where it's going to burst, then it becomes deadly, because what it does is it houses all the bad bacteria that your gut needs. So when your gut needs bad bacteria, it pulls it from the appendix. But then if the appendix were going to burst, then that'd be obviously the bad news. But anyway.
So was I getting bad bacteria early on in my life to where they had too much bad bacteria stored up?
Well, I'm already way in the weeds. I don't know.
I don't ever hear Dr. Gundry talking about this. He's the one who's selling, like, probiotics that put bad bacteria into your gut. Like, you need the bad bacteria.
Yeah, that's why so many people have to take probiotics now, because for years it was like, just get the appendix out of there. Rev, you always talk about writing a book. Rev lost his brother to an appendix failure when he was 57.
Hold on. Appendix failure, or did his appendix burst?
Wow, is that the same thing, or?
Yeah. It is bad pain. Two of the worst pains I've ever had was my appendicitis and my gallbladder. Gallbladder was really bad. Gallbladder was horrible.
When did you have these?
Let's see. I had the gallbladder out in like 2007. I was an adult then. I'd lost a lot of weight for the second time in my life. And I had gallstones built up. And it was probably the third or fourth major attack that I had. And finally, they're doing an ultrasound. And I'm like, I've got something wrong with me. And they're like, well, we can't find anything in your gallbladder. Do one thing for us. Turn on your side. So I turn on my side. They got the ultrasound machine on me. And it's no different than like if you're pregnant. And, I kind of looked pregnant at the time. And it was like a snow globe. The stones that were in my gallbladder was like a snow globe. They're like, we don't know if we've seen this many stones in a gallbladder before. It was kind of freaky to see. Now, I had my appendix out, I think, when I was in 7th grade. So I had my appendix out when I was 13 or 14 years old.
Yeah. I got my tonsils out.
I had my tonsils out in like 2nd or 3rd grade. Yeah. I remember the ice cream afterwards. That's what I remember. I don't remember much about that, but I remember having ice cream to soothe the sore throat that I had after the tonsils came out.
Full night of basketball. You came in with a full show of rundown full rundown of show, and
Well,
here we go.
one other thing that I wanted to get to, because maybe you've seen this. I thought it was fake. I thought it was fake. I thought it was just a sales ploy. I thought it was just something to get you to buy GoDaddy. Have you seen these commercials for Walter Goggins goggle glasses? How he promotes GoDaddy? I'm like, oh, this is a cool way to do promotion. Say that you have a product, say that you have a website, Walter Goggins goggle glasses. And the alliteration, of course, Walter Goggins pretty popular right now after, a couple of shows that he's done. I mean,
Actor guy.
Yeah, he's the actor guy. He's Baby Billy. But Walter Goggins goggle glasses are actually a real thing. I had no idea until this morning. And let me tell you, they are ugly and they are expensive.
$150 on gogginsgoggles.com.
$150 for glasses that look like
what they. There's no way in hell I'd wear these. They look like ski goggles.
Yes.
Have you ever? You're not going to know this, but some people will know the name Riff Raff. They look like the glasses that Riff Raff wears. They look like the shield of them looks like the early 90s Oakley one shield, but then they strap onto your head like a ski goggle. Yeah, I'm with you. If you would have just shown me the image that I looked at when I saw Goggins goggles, I would have been like, oh, this is a funny joke. It's a bit. Because he looks ridiculous on him, in him. Travis, I really, again, conspiracy brain, Ross. I think sometimes they do this. And I don't know who they are. But like when LeBron and all those guys, remember when they wore the suits with shorts? Do you remember?
Yes. That? Yeah.
And you had people that were like, oh, this is fire. This is the next great look. Everybody's going to be doing this now. What? Did you know that there's a theory that Jackson Pollock was just he was basically a CIA operation. He was a CIA plant to drive the Russians insane. They wanted the Russians to think that Americans were crazy. So they decided to make an artist famous, and they picked Jackson Pollock because they thought nobody's actually going to look at a Jackson Pollock painting and like it.
Isn't that the Scorpions song, Winds of Change or something like that?
Change is apparently a CIA. The CIA apparently wrote Winds of Change for the Scorpions.
Hey, we need you to, we're going to write one of the most famous songs of all time.
Hey, can one of y'all whistle? That's how the conversation started, apparently. Can one of y'all whistle? So I think that sometimes they're like, watch how stupid people are. We're going to put rubber shoes out onto the market called Crocs and watch how famous they be. We're going to tell people they're cool.
And it's worked.
Now everybody has Crocs.
I haven't seen anybody wear a pair of Walter Goggins goggle glasses, but I'm sure people are buying them.
Sounds like a bit. Walter Goggins goggles glasses.
That's his whole commercial.
I haven't seen this commercial.
You haven't?
No. But when my favorite show ever was Arrested Development, Scott Baio was one of the characters, played a character that was a lawyer named Bob Loblaw. And he also was a proficient on the internet, so he wrote a blog, and it was called Bob Loblaw's Law Blog. And then Goggins goggles.
It's a real thing. I was shocked. I mean, if you watch like any college football game, if you watch any television, the GoDaddy, I always just thought it was a GoDaddy thing. I'm like, I wonder if this is real. And this morning I'm like, oh, there are really Walter Goggins goggle glasses.
Walter Goggins goggles glasses.
Yeah.
Walter Goggins goggle glasses. Walter Goggins goggle glasses.
I want to get everybody prepared for tomorrow. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve. We are going to be on the air on New Year's Eve because, well, Iowa plays tomorrow. And there will be a black and gold rush after the Iowa game as they take on Vanderbilt. But tomorrow on the Rush Radio Show, we are going to reveal the top 10 sports stories in the state of Iowa, according to the Rush Radio Show. We had a meeting of the minds last night. Ross, Justin, and myself. We had like 21 stories. I thought 21 really good stories.
And I feel like we still missed some. I really do. I feel like we're going to get through we're going to do our list, or maybe we can even, and we're going to ask people, share with us what your top stories of the year were from last year. I guarantee you we're going to see some that we're going to go, oh man, we didn't put that on our list.
Even though if it didn't make the list, and later on today, we're going to reveal the honorable mentions, the ones that didn't make the top 10. And it's a pretty good list. In a lot of cases, they would have been in the top 10. And I learned a lot about Ross yesterday. He's a participation trophy guy. He tries to, justify why somebody should be in the top 10.
I was a spitballing. I'm a brainstorming guy.
Okay.
Not a participation. Okay. I'm a throw all the ideas against the wall type of guy.
Sure. But we had 21 or 22 ideas. We had to do process of elimination. Some were pretty easy to knock out of the top 10. Others weren't. We came up with the 10, and then we had to rank the 10. We did that. So we'll reveal the top 10 tomorrow, and later on today in the show, we will reveal the honorable mentions. But Ross mentioned that there was some basketball last night. When we come back, we'll be talking about the Iowa State win, the Iowa win, which wasn't much of a shock, the Drake loss, the Northern Iowa win.
Dude, hey, seriously, I really appreciate that. 25 minutes into my morning, I've laughed, I've cried, I've thought, I've learned new information. Love this, man. Thank you so much. I needed that.
Hey, folks, if you want a variety and value, make your next stop Central City Liquors. Locals rave about their selection and have the staff who knows their stuff. From favorite everyday bottles to rare finds, they're stocked and ready. Plus, you always find great deals on your favorite drinks. Central City Liquors, where good times start with great choices. It is the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
Bad gift giving. It happens to the best of us.
Thanks, I think.
But what if I told you there's a better way? Toss the silly socks and ditch the mediocre mugs, because the Iowa Lottery's gift that keeps on winning is here to save the holidays. Give your loved ones holiday scratch tickets with a chance to win instantly or unwrap your share of $1 million. Say no to boring presents with the Iowa Lottery this holiday season. Woohoo! Enter and see rules at ialottery.com/VIP.
'Tis the season to share great taste. Grab a refreshing Coca-Cola and make every moment a celebration. Locally made, nationally loved, Coca-Cola is the real deal when it comes to holiday cheer. Whether you're kicking back after the game or hosting the crew, nothing hits like that crisp, fizzy taste. Make this season yours. Grab an ice-cold Coca-Cola today.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
My name's Gary Prosnell, and I'm a residential home mortgage banker for Northwest Bank and Des Moines Metro Market. I've been financing people's homes for over 25 years, and I'm an expert in financing VA loans, FHA loans, IFA loans, and new construction homes. This is my cat Norm. Norm knows football, but he doesn't know mortgage, and that's where I come in. There are a lot of Tom, Dick, and Norms out there doing loans. So don't just trust anyone with your home loan. I'm your local, trusted, experienced expert.
Loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This holiday season, unwrap incredible savings from Willis Nissan. Drive home a brand new Nissan Rogue or Nissan Sentra with special holiday lease offers designed to fit your budget and your wish list. Looking for the perfect gift for the whole family? Enjoy 0% APR financing on the stunning Nissan Pathfinder and the unparalleled Nissan Murano, making it easier than ever to upgrade your sleigh. Stop into our showroom or visit us online at willisnissan.com.
Hey, it's Noel from Fiscus Jewelers. This holiday season, give the gift of sparkle that lasts a lifetime. From our latest designs to timeless favorites, there's something for everyone on your list. Already have a Fiscus diamond? Bring it in and trade up with our 100% trade up program. It's the perfect way to shine a little brighter this year. And if you're dreaming up something custom, get your design started by December 1st for Christmas delivery. Let's make this season magical together. Fiscus Jewelers, your jeweler for life.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
Back to the rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottling Company has been proudly bottling and distributing Coca-Cola products right here in the Midwest for over a century, serving more than 725 communities across Iowa and beyond with millions of cases every single year. Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottling Company. Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. 515-517-2303 is the number to call. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. We're here till 8 o'clock today. The Iowa State Cyclones improved to 13-0 last night, Ross, doing exactly what we knew and thought they would do. They beat Houston Christian. Are you surprised they beat Houston Christian?
No. I mean, if we're the most surprising thing or disappointing, or the only thing that really gets a reaction, I think, was Drake's loss last night. Did you get to chance? I just during the break got a chance to fire up. Did you get a chance to see how TJ Altsberger started his post-game press conference?
I did not.
I saw a tweet from John Walters who retweeted something from a Cyclone account that said, you know, he doesn't often start with an opening statement. He started with 5 minutes about the team is having record academic performance. And I didn't get a chance to listen to the whole thing, but apparently he also talks about the current state of college athletics, and the team is full of guys on the dean's list, and he's very proud of that, and should be. That's very cool. We talk about how that stuff never gets mentioned anymore. It used to be a huge part of the It used to be a part of the conversation. How guys were doing academically, what their majors were. Remember when you would watch a game and every night it would be like, he's the starting quarterback, Johnny Donovan. He's a psychology major. You'd be like, oh, he's a psychology major. And when was the last time they showed a guy and talked about his academics?
Only if it's like, astrophysicist or med school or something. Then they're like, not only does he play college football or basketball, he's going to be a doctor. Him's
got a brain too. That's right. So I think that's cool that he took some time to say, hey, by the way, my guys are kicking ass, not only on the court, but in the classroom too. And
okay, I don't want to take a negative stance to this, but
here we go.
No, I mean, do people care? Do people really care?
Here's my point. We bitch about, do people care? That's your question. No, is the answer. I think it's neat. I think it's cool that he takes some time to do that. I think that I don't like the fact that it's not a part of the conversation at all, that we've totally lost our way with how these are institutions of higher learning, which I do say with a smirk on my face.
Here's why I think you do it, and I'm actually paying TJ a compliment here, is that what he's really saying is, hey, what these guys do every single day as college basketball players is a job. This is a 40, 50, 60-hour-a-week job. Even if the NCAA says I can only practice this much, they're expected to watch film. They're expected to go through game plans. They're traveling. They're out there, and it's not your average student day. Students are students who get, study halls and study time. They don't have study halls. It's not high school. But, their full-time job is to go to class. When you're a student athlete, especially at the basketball or football level, you are pulled away from so much of that extra time that you would have to study. That's why it's a major accomplishment. And it's a compliment that you would recognize that, and you should recognize that. Because it's not easy to play Division I basketball. It's not easy to play Division I football and be a full-time student at the same time.
Yeah.
And the hard part is going to class. Getting through college is not hard. I did it, okay? The fact that I got through college will tell you that it's not that hard. The hard part is showing up each and every day for class. If you go to class, and not saying you're going to be on the dean's list, but you're probably going to pass. But, yeah, I mean, I just don't think fans generally – when your coach says it, your fans will care. But in general, I don't care if the kid at Duke, North Carolina –
there's not a lot to take away from games like that last night. There's just not a lot to take away. Again, the one that we can talk about the most is probably Drake. It's the one that has any significance at all. Iowa destroyed which
UMass Lowell.
Lowell. I'm so sorry. Yeah,
that was 90-62. Iowa shot 58% from the field. They came up with 10 steals last night. Bennett Sturts with 22 points.
And how many?
He ended up playing, I think, 32.
Okay.
So right after we were talking on our meeting yesterday, they pulled him out right about that same time. So I think he played 32 minutes.
He had played like 31 of the first 35 or
Yes.
something like that. And they were destroying UAlbany.
No, UMass Lowell.
Oh, the UMass Lowell. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, the Hawks are it's still weird to say Big Ten action on Saturday against UCLA, right? I mean, you hear UCLA, and it's still hard to go, that's a Big Ten game? Okay. Whatever. Iowa State, by the way, Friday against West Virginia. You mentioned Drake. Drake got beat last night, 73-56. You said it was kind of a surprise. To me, it wasn't
a surprise. That's the wrong thing. I meant the one that's going to get a reaction. The only one I feel like the other games are exactly what I thought was going to happen or hoped would happen. And what I hoped would happen was that Drake was going to pull off a victory last night and show some improvement, show that they're moving the ball in the right direction, get some fan excitement brewing. Coach Hendo needs this.
He does, because Drake is one of those programs that if you're losing, people aren't going to show up. I guess every program's like this, but when you aren't a big fish in a big pond, it's hard to garner the attention. And you play an 8 o'clock game, which is not an ideal time at the Knapp Center. And you let a team. This is the crazy thing. How many turnovers do you think Illinois State had last night? If I told you,
I have not looked at the box score.
Okay, so if I told you Drake forced 23 turnovers last night, 23, Illinois State. That's a season high. 23 turnovers. You're like, man, you forced 23 turnovers. You were. It's a lot closer game than 73-56. Now, they turned the ball over a lot, Ross, but they couldn't miss a damn shot. They shot 78% in the second half. 78% of their shots went in the second half, including 7 of 9 3-pointers. When you can't miss a shot, it's hard to beat a team. And at 78%, that's about as close to not missing as you can get in a college basketball game. That's an insane number. Drake has lost 3 in a row at home. That's the first time that's happened since the 2016-2017 season. So losing 3 straight games at the Knapp Center is a rarity. And there comes a point. Now, to be fair, Illinois State is the preseason pick to win the Missouri Valley Conference.
They're 11-3 on the season, undefeated so far in the Valley. But damn, dude, you know what jumps out? I just pulled up the box score. Here's what jumps out to me. Not only did Federico and Quinn combined for 21. The two leading scorers, Federico had 11, Quinn had 10. But more important than that, they were 7 of 23 from the field. Federico's 4 of 10 from the field, and Jalen Quinn was 3 of 13. Damn.
The 56 points last night, the lowest point output for the Bulldogs this season.
Bulldogs shot 34%. Did you say that one already?
Yeah. And you have a team that shoots 78% in the second half, 63% for the game.
23 turnovers. You're playing good defense. Can't get the ball to go through the hoop. Damn.
You try to find the silver lining. You try to find the positive. Hendo's such a good dude, a positive guy, but there will come a point, and I might be there already, where you're going to have to chalk up the season as this is just one of those rebuilding ones.
Dude, I think that you're again, you gotta keep repeating that thing, especially if you're a Drake fan. Like, nothing fatal right now. None. This sucks. It sucks to watch your team get beat by 15 in the second half in what you thought was a close game. None of this is fatal. I do think that, Travis, very soon here you're going to start having conversations about, like, man, what do we got to do to get this? Because we always have this conversation about how the expectations change. Success breeds these new expectations that are sometimes, and then eventually you get out over your skis. That's the conversation that I think Drake fans have to have, is like, okay, we were spoiled. For a couple years there, we were really spoiled. We got chips fell our direction. All the dominoes fell. You know, do Drake basketball fans look at Ben McCollum the way that Cyclone fans look at Matt Campbell?
No,
like,
not
man,
at all.
You stripped us. You took all of our guys. You built this thing up just to, I mean, again, Ben McCollum didn't build it up. You destroyed this thing, took our guys.
They shouldn't, because when Darren DeVries left, a lot of those guys left as well. Ben McCollum had to build a roster from basically.
That's a great point too. Because I would have liked to have said, man, Ben McCollum took over a winning program, and he had to do the exact same thing. You're right.
But you hit the nail on the head, is that when you have the touch of success that Darren DeVries and Ben McCollum have, you start to say, okay, you're in a good spot. This is where it needs to stay. This is where it needs to maintain. And when it doesn't happen, you're kind of like, whoa, what happened here? Speaking of just consistency and success, you and I got a win last night, 58-48. Now, if you like defensive basketball, last night was it.
That was a game.
That was a game.
Found one for you.
It was 22-20. I mean, there was in the 20s at the half.
Let's see. I had all the things. Yeah, it was 22-22. It was tied at 22 at halftime.
Does Ben walk in at halftime and go, "Whoo, 22 points in the first half"?
That'd be a fun conversation with him. Because my guess is, Travis, you've been through the fire enough times that there's not a lot. You know, I don't think you go in there and go, "Oh, that's a new one." I think you probably walk in and go, "All right, well, I didn't think we'd be tied with Valpo going in.
I didn't think it'd be 22-22."
Right. So what do we got to figure out to get more points on the board and continue playing defense like this? 58-48, the final score. Man, again, not a good shooting night for you and I. But
what matters at the end,
Valpo. Holy cow. Valpo was 3 of 23 from 3-point range.
Yeah, 13%. 13%. Valpo shot 29% for the game. Ugly. Credit the Northern Iowa defense for that. Also, credit Valpo can't shoot the ball last night with a crap. To answer your question about, and my own question is, at the end of the day, Ben walks in and goes, "Wasn't pretty, but we won the basketball game." That's all that matters.
I think that's right. Pile up the wins, position yourself.
And Northern Iowa has Indiana State on New Year's Day. You mentioned that Otzelberger mentioned the state of college basketball, and the state of college basketball is being talked about a lot now because of Baylor. Scott Drew finally addressed the situation of signing a former NBA second-round draft pick to the team, where Tom Izzo has voiced his opinion. Dan Hurley has voiced his opinion. He says, you need a commissioner now. No, you don't. What you need is the NCAA to have a set of balls to say, hey, if you're drafted, you're out. If you played in the G League, you're out. Sorry, you don't get to play. If you made that, all you need is rules. You don't need a commissioner. You need a director of the NCAA that has a set of cojones to go, listen, you forfeited your amateurism or your ability to play college basketball once you decided to, and I don't care if you signed a contract, once you went over to play overseas, that's professional basketball. Once you play in the G League, that's professional basketball. If you can't make it to the NBA, that's the risk you took. Go play in Europe. This is very easily solvable. I know there's people that are upset. And Scott Drew, God bless him, great coach. What he's been able to do at Baylor over the time he's been there and what he took over and built up to win a national championship is spectacular. Scott Drew should not have to apologize for signing this kid because it within the rules that are legal. And if Scott Drew didn't do it, you know what? Somebody else was going to do it. And he probably found the loophole once Louisville, Oklahoma, and Santa Clara.
Yeah, there were a couple others that did it kind of.
Sign the G League guys, and you go, well, hold on, I can sign G League guys? What about NBA draft picks that never signed a contract?
The day this happened, I said this was going to happen, didn't I?
Yeah.
The day this happened, I said, then why can't they recruit from the Iowa Wolves? Why can't they? What about NBA guys that didn't burn their NBA eligibility?
All you have to do, you don't need a commissioner. All you need to do is set a line saying, this is the line. This is the rule.
Let's be clear. Your line on the rule, because I thought I knew where I wanted. I thought I knew how I would kind of verbalize the line, but I want to be. Then as you were talking, I wrote down a few other things. I thought maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I need to amend that in some way. So I would have thought that the line would be very simply, if you're ever paid to play the game, if you were ever a part of a professional league, not drafted into, if you got a paycheck, if you took money, then you're not eligible to be in the NCAA. But
NIL has changed that.
NIL's changed that because now that's what we're doing. Paying the guy to come play basketball. Well, how can you say, well, that excludes you from being a part of our league if you've already done the thing that we're doing?
Here's how you get around that, Ross, is that once you sign a professional contract with a professional team, whether it be G League, whether it be European, whether it be NBA, you have forfeited your rights.
Travis,
I remember 10 years ago.
Legalities of this. Like, what about, because I was thinking the same thing. I want to say the same words you are, but my brain stops and says, wait a minute. I would also be okay with really good high school players being paid by Adidas to be a part of a travel team.
They are.
Exactly. How's that different?
Because that is still not a professional team. You're not. You can go to Europe and make a pretty darn good living. I don't look at a travel, and trust me, it's a slippery slope. It's not that I'm in favor for it, but I understand that Adidas, Nike, there's some compensation, right? However, I view that differently, and these guys are they're trying to get to the G League. They're trying to get to college. Because not everybody, you know what, Ross? Not everybody on these travel teams is going to be a Division I player. Some are going to end up at Grandview. Right. Some are, right. So it's not like some are elite, some aren't. But I think you can say, hey, what is we can make a pretty good, fair judgment on what's professional or not. You go play in Greece.
So too. I agree that's why I think it should be something like it's got to be somehow tied to to getting paid, but I don't know how you do that when we've got high school kids essentially getting paid. So you're going to have to write the language that does that mental gymnastics to weave around. Well, we want to carve out this little part here to make sure that if kids are, I don't know. And I hate that amateurism. I don't even know what that really means anymore.
I mean, I'll go back 10 years when you had college coaches who were recruiting kids overseas who were getting paid, right? And they were like, well, you can't get him eligible because he was paid by an Australian team like a couple $100 or whatever that was. it used to be a bigger deal. The reason a guy like Tom Izzo, Dan Hurley, and other basketball coaches that are sounding off about being upset about Baylor signing this guy is because they never thought of it. They're like, even because, am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. I do think that that's a big part of it is like, wait, these aren't the rules we've always played by. And Dan Hurley's the one that goes, I understand. We don't have the same rules anymore. Did you guys read the new rule book?
Dan Hurley was actually one who goes, I didn't even know it was possible. And because Scott Drew is and Scott Drew was probably like, well,
I said Dan Hurley. Scott Drew.
And he probably went, well, you signed a G League guy? Is there anybody out there of a higher quality? Oh, this guy never signed an NBA contract, played in the G League, then went and played professionally in Europe. Does that fit the criteria? You ask for permission. NCAA says, we don't see a problem. All right, we'll sign him. I get why coaches are upset, but you're upset for two reasons. A, the rule book, the goalpost has moved, and people don't like it when the goalpost move. But we're all hesitant to change.
They've been where they have been for so long.
Yeah.
So many people still, conditioning works. Brainwashing works. So many people still repeat some of those things that the NCAA has beat into our brains. One of those is amateurism. I don't know what that term really means, especially in this day and age when a player can do this.
And the other reason they're upset is because they didn't think of it. And if they would, because if TJ Otzelberger signed an NBA draft pick, Iowa State fans would be like, hell yeah, it's legal. Brilliant. Ben McCollum went and got a G League player. Yeah, he's our guy. He's a Hawk. If it goes against a team you're playing against, you're like, that's not fair. That's not fair. We're playing against pros. To me, there's smarter people that are in charge of this, but I don't think it would be that hard to define what exactly is a professional league.
It's moved so far. It's unreal.
Here's what it is to me. You bring up the travel teams, Adidas and Nike, right?
Yeah.
That's not a full-time job. Those kids are still going to class. They're not playing every single night. You go to Europe, you're probably playing 3-4 nights a week. You play in the G League, you're probably playing 3-4 nights a week. That's your job. That's when it becomes a professional. Even in college, Ross, yes, it's a job, and I kind of mentioned it, the hours, but you still have to go to class. There are other obligations that you have to uphold to maintain your eligibility. All you have to say is, was it your job? Well, yeah, you're out. Is that too simplistic? Is my pea-brain?
We've got one question. Was that your job? What is it you would say you do around here?
Well, I play basketball. You're a professional. You're out. That simple. And I don't have a problem with this either. But there are exceptions to the rule because Berger says age limits. Well, the Mormons go. The Mormons go on their mission. You may have somebody who does military time, right? And that's probably more for football. I think you would have to carve out exceptions to the rules.
Yeah.
But you're right. Should a kid that's 23 years old come in with 4 years of eligibility when you were a second-round draft pick? I'm okay with age limits. Perfectly okay with it.
With those carve-outs, Trav, like you said, I'm okay with it because, again, I don't want to deprive us of those fun D2 or really low-level stories that pop up every now and again of a guy like 37 years old, retired from the military, or 42-year-old retired, and now he's playing linebacker. You're like, go get it, dude. Don't get hurt. So I would want carve-outs for some of that stuff, but I'm with you. I don't mind some of these guardrails.
What we need is leaders to lead. And this is in where leadership fails, this is when you start getting stuff like this. And now Senator Ted Cruz has apparently paid attention to the Iowa State situation.
Dude, I saw Governor Ron DeSantis in Florida retweeted something and said, yep, time for the government to step in, everybody.
No!
Don't worry. 'Worry. 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 ' The U.S. government's going to take over, which will cure all the problems. Just look north. There'll be no. There'll be no.
The United States government will solve nothing. Nothing. Stop thinking that government can solve your problems. It can't. It can't.
Ted Cruz is here to the rescue, guys. Everybody relax. The adults in the room are going to take over and take charge. Same people that have been in charge for the last 30 years and have run us in. Those guys. Don't worry. Dude. Ryan writes this in. He says, take all of this out of the equation. Make it an age limit, age restriction 17 to 22. You have to be enrolled at the university and carry a minimum 2.0 GPA.
I don't know if I agree with the 22. I think I was 23 when I graduated college, right? I mean, because it depends on when you, I would say 17 to 25 would be fine. I mean, meaning you could come in when you're 21 if you serve the military. I'm thinking football, or if you went on a Mormon mission, which I think takes 2 years.
I think those are important things. I do, Trav. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Got to carve things out for those exceptions.
But there does come a point, even in your maturation, because your peak athletic ability is, 27 to 28, maybe?
Yeah.
So I can't have a 28-year-old playing against 17-year-olds. That's still a man and a kid.
And that's happening. NCAA is doing that right now.
This kid at Baylor's 23. He's got 4 years of eligibility. He'll be 27 if he makes it all 4 years, which he might want to do. He'll make really good money at Baylor because he proved that he can't make it in the NBA, even being a second-round draft pick.
I want to share Cycling for a Cure's comment here. This is something that is a conversation we should have in the summer. I've brought this up in the past, and it gets a lot of pushback, and I think this...
The problem with that, Ross...
Your solution, and what he wrote is, adopt the Euro model, get sports out of school entirely. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in a decade. I don't know how it happens and how you start to pull the money. I don't know.
I disagree with it because we're talking about elite levels, right? Sports is still a valuable tool to learn teamwork, leadership, camaraderie, and the majority of people that play high school sports are done when they're in high school. And it also, once you take it out of the school model, it doesn't become free anymore. You're going to have to pay for it. And I get that youth sports is a big moneymaker when you're on travel teams, but not everybody plays travel teams. Not everybody at these small schools. I mean, these farm kids at Yale, Jamaica, Bagley, and Arweva, and Irwin Kirkman, Manila. They're farm kids that play football, basketball, and baseball in the summer, and when they graduate high school, they either run the farm or they go to Iowa State and get their ag degree, right? I mean, and it's provided by the school. I don't necessarily agree with getting it out of the schools because what we're really talking about is elite athletes.
I think Sean's onto something here when he says you need the schools for the dedicated fan base.
There's some truth to that.
Logo matters.
Hey, don't forget that bats do hibernate in Iowa, but that doesn't mean they disappear in the winter. Even during hibernation, bats shift around or inside walls and attics, creating noise and occasionally finding their way into your living space. Pest control isn't seasonal, it's year-round, so when temperatures drop, spiders, cluster flies, and mice, they hide inside looking for warmth. So protect your home all winter long with Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions. It's your trusted local family-owned experts. Corey does a great job. Go to batsandbugspestsolutions.com.
Hey, saw Corey yesterday. Was backing out of the driveway. He was sitting out in front of the house. I was like, are you here for Bats and Bugs? I actually pulled up to him. I go, are you Corey from The Rush? And he called me later. He was on the phone with a customer. So he called me later, and he said, remember I had told you that my neighbor a few houses down had bats years ago? Corey was the one that got rid of them.
Nice.
They had a mouse in the house the other day. Corey came over and helped him figure out what was going on. So look at him. Solving problems all over the metro.
All over the metro. And he'll expand beyond the metro. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app. allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
Bad gift giving. It happens to the best of us.
Thanks, I think.
But what if I told you there's a better way? Toss the silly socks and ditch the mediocre mugs, because the Iowa Lottery's gift that keeps on winning is here to save the holidays. Give your loved ones holiday scratch tickets with a chance to win instantly or unwrap your share of $1 million. Say no, no, no to boring presents with the Iowa Lottery this holiday season. Woohoo! Enter and see rules at ialottery.com/VIP.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vents, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
There's more Iowa in the Iowa Tap Room than you may realize. Housed in a building nearly as old as Iowa itself, the Iowa Tap Room greets you with a harvest of 120 Iowa craft beers on tap from all corners of the state. And the food doesn't get much more Iowa than this. The Iowa Tap Room, all Iowa beer, one amazing place.
There's always something new at Fong's Pizza and an ever-changing menu of tiki drinks. Or try our new noodle dishes alongside your favorite slice. It's all happening at the new Fong's in the East Village.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Start spreading the news, 'cause it's time to buy booze, and there's only one place to be. You can see all your friends, the good times never end, unless you're just loitering. It's Central City, we can make your dreams come true. No guarantee your dreams will come true. Central City, all this booze is waiting for you. Look at all this booze.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Cheaper, cleaner, and homegrown. Pump it up with unleaded 88.
Hi, I'm Sean McFarland, Service Manager here at Mini of Des Moines. If you're looking for the perfect gift for your Mini this season, you won't find it under the Christmas tree. What your Mini really wants this holiday season is preventative maintenance. Stop in today so we can make sure your coolant or fuel system are in tip-top order for this holiday season. Please give us a call to schedule your appointment or visit us online at miniofdesmoines.com.
For the holidays, bring real taste to the table with Gold Peak Real Brewed Tea. Made with real tea leaves and real cane sugar, Gold Peak delivers a golden, brewed for taste flavor that makes every moment more meaningful. Whether you're gathering with family or friends, celebrate the moments that matter the most, because real connections deserve real refreshment. For your upcoming holiday celebrations, choose Gold Peak Tea and bring real taste to the table.
Like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Championship teams are built on consistency, and so is Willis Automotive. That's why they power the Rush Radio Show every single day. From sales to service, they show up every day ready to deliver. Before your next big purchase, do your homework and buy your car online at willisauto.com. Willis Automotive, driving the show and driving your next ride. Hour number 2 of the Rush Radio Show. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. If you have something to say to us, 515-517-2303. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve. We'll be revealing for the entire 2 hours our top 10 sports stories in the state of Iowa. We came up, we had a list of 21. We narrowed it down to 10, and then we ranked them after that. And we'll spend tomorrow, and I think Justin Miller is going to be joining us for that show as well, to do the top 10 sports stories in the state of Iowa in 2025. A little bit later on, we'll do the honorable mentions, the ones that didn't make the top 10. They're in no particular order, but big stories that still deserve a mention, but just not quite big enough to be in the top 10. So that's coming up. I
guarantee you we've missed something. And I feel like we didn't put enough fun stuff on there. Like, there's not enough stuff that you and I, like, we didn't do the top 10 stories from the show. You know what I mean? What were the 10 things that you and I talked about the most throughout the year? Because I don't think any of that stuff would be on the list.
The hard part about putting a list together, and you brought it up several times in our meeting, was recency bias. Because the stuff that's on your mind right now tends to go to the top. And you to go, okay, we need to take the recency bias out of this. And does it really deserve to be in the top 10?
So, and we mostly focused on the state of Iowa. So, like, dude from Iowa wrote in, and said, the Biffle plane crash. We really did. It was Iowa centric was the model here. And so all of these are Iowa stories. I don't think any of them are national stories.
No, they're all Iowa stories. In fact, we had a big debate over Caitlin Clark yesterday. And that does Caitlin Clark still belong in the top 10? Her injury and stuff like that. And we're like, she didn't even make honorable mention. We were like, we kind of kicked that out and said,
be in the top 10 of things that we talked about. You know what I mean? Over the course of the year, amount of time we spent, that'd be near the top. A lot of NIL discussion from us. That kind of gets, obviously the Iowa State stuff. But
now this is a potential in the future top 10 Iowa story. A potential. Ross, guess who turned 50? Guess who's turned 50?
Who's turned 50? A couple years older than me. Who is it?
Tiger Woods.
Oh, I did see this. Yeah, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So Tiger Woods at age 50 becomes eligible for the Champions Tour. That's the former senior PGA Tour, where you can play 54 holes and you can ride a cart. Now, Tiger's not healthy. He didn't play an event last year. He's barely putting and chipping now. He's not even full-time practicing. But if and when Tiger decides to come back, he has the option to play on the Champions Tour. Des Moines hosts the Pinnacle Bank Championship.
Okay. Yes and yes.
Or Principal Charity Classic. Principal Charity Classic. Principal Charity Classic. If Tiger Woods came to play, even if he didn't win the Principal Charity Classic, that would be a top 10 Iowa story.
Yes.
Now, probably not going to happen in 2026. Could happen in 2027. I don't think he's going to be healthy enough to play in 2026. If he's not even practicing yet.
Travis.
You're saying it's never going to happen?
Travis.
Yes.
You think he's going to come play in this?
You never know.
I know. He's not coming to Des Moines, Iowa. Tiger's going to play in a handful of events ever again. And they will be spectacles. I mean, dude, Travis, this is like saying, hey, Jake Paul's hosting boxing events, right? The Casey Center, Jake Paul could come fight a fight at the Casey Center. Yeah, logistically he could. You're right. Logistically, that could happen. Tiger Woods ain't coming to Des Moines to play a round of golf.
So it's a pipe dream to think that that he would play.
Not that he would play, or maybe play in a couple of the of those Champions Tour type events, but no, I don't anticipate him coming to Des Moines, Iowa to play in the Principal Charity Classic. Again, I'm not saying he won't play in events again, but my gut says if he's going to get himself ready to play in an event, if he's going to go through the work to get himself ready to compete, it ain't going to be. I mean,
you don't even think 5 years down the road when he's 55 and he's no.
And maybe I'm crazy. I mean, to me, this is a no-brainer that Tiger Woods is never coming to Des Moines, Iowa to play golf. Just because, I'm not like, he just doesn't need to. He's going to play a handful of courses all year, a handful of events when he's healthy enough to get himself, and not a handful of courses. He's obviously playing rounds. Handful of actual events, publicized. It's going to be, I say there's I'm 100% he's not coming. Kalshi prediction market, I'm all in on no.
You are bursting my bubble. I really wanted you to think that Tiger could come play the Principal Charity Classic.
No.
Is it because
I would love to hear from other folks. Maybe somebody that knows more about golf or is more in tune with this could say, actually, Ross, here's some examples of guys like that. I saw somebody say John Daly plays in those tournaments. That's a whole different world.
Yeah, John Daly still needs to play in those events.
He's got habits, damn it.
And I will give you one thing. I would agree, like in the short term, Tiger wouldn't. But I look at Tiger when he's 55, 60, and if he has that competitive drive going, I just want to go out and hang out with the people that I played all my life with, and I can go play these 3-day tournaments. I can ride in a cart, and I can do that.
All of that stuff, though, Trav, he can do on his own.
But not in a competitive field like that, not in a tournament.
He can bring those guys to a golf course and put cash on the line. I don't know. I think if he's going to do that, I just don't imagine. I don't ever envision him being on the tour. You know what I mean? Doing the Champions Tour.
There was a senior golfer, I forget who it was, who said, hey, this is great. We would love to have him, but here's the deal. Tiger would have to let every tour place know that he's going to play well in advance because it would be a logistical nightmare. Because let's use Wakanda. You would go from 10,000 people a day or whatever to 30,000 people on the course following Tiger Woods.
You have to build new grandstands.
515-517-2303. Let's go to John. John, welcome to the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive. What's going on?
Hey, love it when you guys talk golf, and happy birthday to Tiger. Ross is 1,000,000% right on this, Travis. There is no way in hell that Tiger is coming to Des Moines to play golf. Let's say he was healthy. First of all, he's not, but let's say he is. Even when he was in his 20s, he hardly played. He played 15 to 20 tournaments, which is much less than a normal tour pro. He only played in John Deere, for example, when he was just turned pro, then never came back. He'll play a couple of the majors on the senior tour, maybe one or two close to home in Florida, and that's it. I think he probably still plays the Masters once in a while, maybe the British Open, but that's it. Unfortunately, I think the days of Tiger playing well are gone. I'll miss it, but it was fun while it lasted.
John, while I've got you on the line here, I heard a fun Gary Player story the other day. In fact, I should have my buddy Jamie come on and tell us about his relationship with Gary Player, Trav. Because my buddy Jamie, he just moved back to Iowa. He was a golf pro down. He worked at a course down in Florida for a long time and somehow became friends with Gary Player. I heard this story on the internet the other day, and I verified it with my buddy, John. You're going to like this. So Gary Player, wins the Masters several years ago, decades ago. And then part of being a Masters champion is you get to come back and play in the par 3 every year and bring a caddy. And then your caddy gets to hit a shot during the par 3 at Augusta. So it's a big deal to be a caddy for a former major winner. So Gary Player, when he first had boys and boys started playing golf, he would take one of his boys, and then the boys grew up and they had kids, and now he's got grandkids that are all good golfers and they want to be the caddy. So how do you decide, Travis? He has 21 relatives that all want to be the caddy for the par 3 at the Masters. How do you decide that if you're a guy like Gary Player?
Have your own family tournament.
You have a freaking qualifier. He makes all 21 of them play in a qualifier, and whoever wins it gets to be his caddy.
So he happens to play with Nicholas. I don't know if Nicholas plays anymore, but I think he does. Anyway, maybe 10 years ago-ish, they do it on the 9th hole of the par 3. Jack Nicklaus' grandson had a hole-in-one.
I remember that.
I don't know if you recall that or not.
I remember that.
And he, of course, and Nicholas has, as many grandkids as Gary Player, so I don't know how he decides, but
same way. They play in the same qualifier.
Fun stuff.
Thanks, John. Appreciate the call, man.
That little part. Yeah. All right.
Thanks, man. Damn it. I was just thinking long term. Doesn't have to be when he's 50. Doesn't have to be when he's 55. But maybe when he's 60, he's like, I'm gonna get on my jet. I'm gonna go to Des Moines. I'm gonna play Wakanda.
Here's what's funny. It's funny that we're bringing this up because I do remember a time 15 years ago, maybe more, and John would have remembered this too. I remember thinking Tiger Woods is going to be 50 years. He's going to be eligible to play in the Seniors Tour, and he's still going to be winning majors. We'd seen Arnold Palmer. We'd seen Jack. We'd seen some of those old guys in the 80s and 90s stick around, play into their 40s, play till they were nearly 50, be competitive. And then Tiger came along, and he's a completely different beast. And I remember thinking, Champions Tour, this guy's going to be winning the Masters when he's 55.
Well, that's not going to happen.
He won't even be. I mean, I think John's right. We've the best. Those old days are behind us. We all will miss it.
This is why I like dude from Iowa. Don't give in, Trav. Hold your prediction. You're a smart guy.
You are a smart guy. I called you a genius yesterday.
Which nobody ever calls me. Just saying. Rivalries in college football are a big deal. Iowa State, Auburn, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, Clemson, South Carolina, Texas A&M, Texas, Oklahoma. USC, Notre Dame is part of that. I think continuously played since 1946 or 1942. I'm off on my dates. The only year they missed, Ross, was the COVID year, right? Because you had a shortened schedule. Well, next year, USC and Notre Dame are going to play. And Lincoln Riley took a beating from this. I think it was Keyshawn Johnson was, you ain't no Trojan. You don't ruin this. And USC had been fairly quiet about that and let Notre Dame kind of just write off saying, well, they didn't want to play us, so we scheduled BYU. Lincoln Riley in getting ready for the Alamo Bowl, because they play tonight, right? Don't they play the Alamo Bowl tonight?
Yeah. That's tonight. I had that up. Sorry about that.
Kind of fired a shot in a war of words in the rivalry. And that is, hey, we took Notre Dame at its word. Notre Dame publicly stated that they would play USC anytime, anywhere. And USC sent a scheduling package to Notre Dame in which they turned down. And 5 minutes later, according to Lincoln Riley, which had to be the fastest scheduling thing that's ever taken in college football, had BYU on its schedule. And so when Lincoln Riley, I'm glad that he's fighting back here. And I do think rivalries are good for football. Games are big. I like that he said, hey, you said anytime, anywhere. And USC wants to get more into what the Big Ten is doing, right? When do Big Ten teams play their non-conference games? They play them early in the season.
Oh, when do Big Ten teams play non-con? Yeah, start this season with non-con games. Yes.
Okay. They don't play non-con games in November. That's the heart of the conference season. And they want to align. They want to assimilate. They want to adapt the culture that you go into. Say, hey, we're an outsider here. How do we fit in? And they said, hey, we want to kind of keep consistent with what the rest of the Big Ten is doing. We don't want to carve out a time in November to play Notre Dame because we're on the conference schedule. He just came back and said, if Notre Dame's going to say anytime, anywhere, well, you're not following through for your words, because we said, here's the time, here's the where. Oh, well, so If that's true, is it Notre Dame who backed out of the game? If USC gave you an option and said, here it is.
If Notre Dame had BYU in the red is standing by, it's almost like that when the NFL contracts are able to be announced and they get announced immediately, or when the transfer portal opens and guys have made these decisions in seconds. Takes two to tango, dude. I think fans will find fault with where they want to find fault. The truth is, it's two companies that can't agree on the money to get to a contract. That's the bottom line. They're both to blame, but from man, I think I know I'm such in the minority when I say things like this. Like, those rivalries just don't matter to me. So I don't care that USC and Notre Dame play or don't play.
I would say you're in the I respect your opinion.
I know I'm in the minority with that. I get it. And I know that most college sports fans, like Travis, even when you go through that list of rivalries, I go, yeah, those are fun games. Auburn, Alabama, Texas, Oklahoma. These are fun football games that you look forward to every year. USC Notre Dame was just never one that I was attached to at all. But Keyshawn Johnson's right. There are a lot of people that are really attached to those games.
You know why they're attached to them, especially like a Keyshawn, because those are brands. USC is a big brand. Notre Dame's a big brand, and when you're able to play the brand, you're like, yeah, it adds to your validity as that brand. And
love or hate Keyshawn Johnson, he's got some validity. He's got skin in the game. He has the ability to say, hey, this you don't get to affect this thing that I put so much of my life into.
But I'm glad Lincoln Riley pushed back a little bit. You're right. It takes two to tango, but he was just sitting there taking darts from his own fan base. And I'm glad he said, hey, this is how it went down. Don't think that we just said, we don't want to play Notre Dame. All we said was we want to assimilate to what the Big Ten is doing, and we want to play the game earlier in the year. So I respect that. Hey,
8 o'clock. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
8 o'clock kick tonight between USC and TCU in the Valero Alamo Bowl. You have a 4:30 kick between Tennessee and Illinois in the Liberty Mutual Music City Bowl. And it's a 1 o'clock start to your bowl day here on Tuesday, December 30th, when Coastal Carolina and Louisiana Tech kick off in the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl. And if you happen to not see it last night, I won't say miss it, Georgia Southern beats Appalachian State 29-10 in the J-Lab Birmingham Bowl.
Wow. Played at Legion Field.
J.C. French IV led Georgia Southern with 171 passing yards. J.C. French IV.
Okay. I have no confirmation on this. This is a total rumor, but I got a phone call yesterday that was wild. Now you're going to go, that's not that wild. But I need you to think long term. Okay. I need you to think, or even short term, and the dangers that universities and conferences are going down. It has to do with Kyle Whittingham, new Michigan coach.
Yeah.
You remember he stepped down as Utah's coach, said he was not going to retire. He was essentially entering the transfer portal. He'd been at Utah for 21 years, had the coach in waiting. But, then all of a sudden, late, you're like, oh, this is going to be my last year. Ross, look at Utah's collective.
Okay.
It was recently funded up to the price tag of $500 million by private equity.
Yeah, I remember that we saw this. I remember that was the story that came out, right?
The phone call that I got yesterday, again, rumor, okay, was the private equity firm that you just didn't give $500 million. They expect to make a return on the investment.
Of course.
Said, hey, I don't know if we're comfortable with a 66-year-old being the head coach. Because you have a coach in waiting, and we don't want to let him slip through the cracks. So maybe it's time to say it's time to go. This is the danger of private equity getting involved with anything. Now, again, I need to stress, it is a rumor. But the phone call I got was from somebody who's around this stuff. When you let the fox in the hen house, stuff starts happening. And the last thing you want is a private equity firm telling you who your coach should be, thinking I'm not going to get enough return on investment for my money. If that is true,
why wouldn't that? I'm being dead serious here. When you pay, then you get a say. We all have bosses. Well, some of us do. And when you have, when a boss shows up and says, "Hey, I need that ROI, I need that return on that investment, and I'm going to put the employees in position to get me the return on the investment that I need."
Because people were like, God, Kyle Whittingham just ended up Michigan real quick. He literally just left his team. Now, he didn't go out in a blaze of glory. He didn't trash Utah. He thanked the administration. Nope. He didn't say anything. But it was one of these, hey, you got a coach in waiting, and we've seen other coach in waitings waited a little bit too long, and they went to a different school. We don't want to lose this guy. Maybe it's time, you're 66, that you step aside.
All right, so let's take that. Did that all happen? I mean, like, I remember us talking about that story a couple months ago.
Yeah.
A month ago. Private equity is buying the Utah athletic department. Now, and within a month, all that happens. Or 6 weeks, whatever that would be. What's the story about the Big Ten?
You
private equity coming in and buying the Big Ten?
Well, creating a separate business unit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
515.
When you have bosses that are paying, they get the saying.
515-517-2303. Let's go to Justin in Urbandale. Justin, welcome to the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive. What's going on?
Hey, good morning, guys, and Happy New Year to you.
Same to you.
Hope you have a Happy New Year. Anyway, so just real quick question on that. What's the difference in if there's a private equity firm that's funding your program saying that they're not comfortable with the coach, or in the old days, the boosters who were essentially, the athletic department's private equity, quote unquote, saying that they're not comfortable with the coach?
Because I'll tell you what the difference is that it can happen a lot more quickly. I think boosters want to believe in their athletic director and will be a little more graceful. And there's a big difference between $2 and $3 million donations and $500 million of influx of cash,
or billions, like we're talking about.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I was just curious about that. It's an interesting conversation. And interesting if it goes down that path. I hope somebody steps in and puts some rules in place before the whole train goes off the tracks.
Yeah, don't worry.
Have a good day, guys.
Ted Cruz is racing to the rescue, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, boosters will offer more grace when it's a business transaction of people who aren't emotionally involved.
Yeah.
They'll demand action now. That's the difference.
And Trav, when you are a booster, you are one of many.
And not all boosters are on the same page.
When you are a hedge fund investor, there's a chairman of the board. Man, I had not foreseen. This is one of those unforeseen circumstances, right? Where you don't realize what you're talking about here. This reminds me of one of those corporate takeovers, right? Where the new guy comes in and he goes, "Listen, it's Maverick taking over Come and Go. Hey guys, we're not gonna change anything. You guys are kicking butt. We're gonna let you guys do your own thing. But secretly, we think we're way better at this than you, and so we're going to tell you what to do."
Yeah, we're not changing the name. It's not going away.
Guys. We're just here we're going to spend a couple months just getting to know you guys. If you haven't been in one of those meetings and your butt puckers, you haven't lived.
Hey, don't forget that Fiscus Jewelers is your local full-service jeweler in Ankeny, 1701 Southeast Delaware Avenue, Suite 250. You got custom design, engagement and bridal, repairs, pearl restringing, appraisals in just a few days, clean, polished, fully documented replacement value. So start your design, get your new piece of jewelry at fiscusjewelers.com. Open Monday through Saturday. Noel's a great dude. He's going to hook you up. So, Valentine's Day coming up. We're just moving on to a different holiday. And Valentine's Day, good day to...
That's a good one to go see Noel.
Yeah. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive. For the holidays, bring real taste to the table with Gold Peak Real Brewed Tea. Made with real tea leaves and real cane sugar, Gold Peak delivers a golden, brewed for taste flavor that makes every moment more meaningful. Whether you're gathering with family or friends, celebrate the moments that matter the most because real connections deserve real refreshment. For your upcoming holiday celebrations, choose Gold Peak Tea and bring real taste to the table.
Bad gift giving. It happens to the best of us.
Thanks, I think.
But what if I told you there's a better way? Toss the silly socks and ditch the mediocre mugs because the Iowa Lottery's gift that keeps on winning is here to save the holidays. Give your loved ones holiday scratch tickets with the chance to win instantly or unwrap your share of $1 million. Say no, no, no to boring presents with the Iowa Lottery this holiday season. Woohoo! Enter and see rules at ialottery.com/VIP.
Wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vent, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
This December, unwrap big savings at Willis Chevrolet of Granger. We've got our largest inventory of vehicles ever. New, pre-owned, and now Car Bravo certified. The gifts keep coming with the season's most sought-after Chevys, the Trax, and the all-new Traverse. In stock right now and ready to drive home for the holidays. And don't miss the red tag sale with 0% APR financing on select models. It's a perfect time to slay your savings. Hurry into Willis Chevrolet of Granger or visit us online at willischevy.com.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Pump it up with unleaded 88.
Hey, it's Noel from Fiscus Jewelers. This holiday season, give the gift of sparkle that lasts a lifetime. From our latest designs to timeless favorites, there's something for everyone on your list. Already have a Fiscus diamond? Bring it in and trade up with our 100% trade up program. It's the perfect way to shine a little brighter this year. And if you're dreaming up something custom, get your design started by December 1st for Christmas delivery. Let's make this season magical together. Fiscus Jewelers, your jeweler for life.
The largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels. There's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
Hi, I'm Tom, owner of Central City Liquors. Our customers love us because we offer a large selection at an affordable price. And to keep costs low for you, we don't splurge on fancy promotions and expensive equipment. This commercial is being shot on a phone taped to a stick. Anyway, we are proud to announce our new rewards program that allows customers to save more the more they buy. Whoop! So don't spend more to pay for fancy commercials. Save at Central City, where we know what's important. I told you we should have used duct tape.
Hi everyone, it's Marion with Willis. Christmas is coming up and that means traveling to see your family. You can't see your family if you can't see the road, and you can't see the road with old wiper blades. So come on down to Willis to get $10 off a set of wiper blades with the purchase of an oil change for the whole month of December. Give us a call or schedule online at willisvolvocars.com.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Coming up on Friday, it's the Iowa Lottery Weekly Woohoo. Your chance to pick up a $90 prize pack from the Iowa Lottery. You've got holiday scratch tickets and Instaplay tickets. So make sure to call in and give us your weekly woohoo or your boohoo. And don't forget to become a VIP club member. If you're not a VIP member, sign up for free today at iowalottery.com/VIP. The weekly woohoo, Friday, here on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Coming up tomorrow, New Year's Eve, Ross and I are going to spend the 2 hours talking about the top 10 sports stories in the state of Iowa in the year 2025. We had our final meeting yesterday. Justin Miller joined us. We had a list of 21 items that we came up with. And again, we probably missed some, but if we missed it, it's probably not top 10 worthy. I'm just saying if we missed it, it could have been honorable mention worthy, but I doubt it's top 10 worthy.
I think it was Driftless Iowan. One of our listeners in the chat said, hey, you guys got Colin Ray on there, right? That's the Cascade, Iowa native, major league veteran, had a nice season for the Chicago Cubs. He's on the list, right?
No,
he's not on the list. And there are, by the way, are things in our top 10 that we didn't talk about.
That's true.
We have a couple of stories in our top 10 that when we went back and looked at the year that we're like, we never even mentioned these things. In fact, some of them are kind of like new. You read them, you go, whoa, didn't even realize X and Y.
But we thought they were top 10 worthy when you look at what they are. And some people go, I can't believe you put that there. Well, you still got to give credit where credit's due and go, that's a significant achievement. Now, in no particular order, I didn't rank the honorable mention. These are the ones that are not in the top 10 from our list of 21. Going to start with Iowa State beats Iowa in football. And we had a pretty good debate over this.
Yeah, that one was close.
This was and finally, I think I put my foot down and I said, Ross, no. And Ross was fighting for this. And I think Justin was too. But I said, hey, these guys play every year. So does the Cyhawk game belong in the top 10 every single year? And I think it was you who brought it up. Well, it was the first time Iowa State had won an Ames since like 2014. I said, okay, but they've won back-to-back. It's not like Iowa winning. If it would have been back when Dan McCarney snapped the long losing streak to Iowa, that would have been a top 10 moment. Not saying that Iowa State beating Iowa isn't a big deal in the state of Iowa. It is. It's just
Justin and I maybe even thought about trying to put all, because we decided they were individual moments also, because we wanted to maybe even put the entire Cyhawk, the fact that the Cyclones have swept Iowa in the 4 major sports. We fought for each, we ended up having a conversation about each one of the events, and Travis basically said, no, the Cyhawk game ending, because my argument was not only is it the biggest sporting event of the year, not only did Iowa State win for the first time in Ames in a long time, but the game ended in such dramatic fashion. A 476-yard field goal to win the game in the final. And actually, there's like a minute 50 left. It just shows how little faith all of us had in the Iowa offense. We knew the game was over, even though Iowa was getting the ball with like 2 minutes to play. I was like, well, they can't score. So anyway, that was that. Yep, Travis did. He put his foot down. He said, we're not doing participation trophies. And the Cyhawk football game
is not in there. Todd Stepsis to Northern Iowa. Honorable mention, not in the top 10. Now, if Todd Stepsis would have won the Missouri Valley Conference or got to the got to the playoffs, that might have changed a little bit. Now, it was a significant move, but again, in a big story in the state of Iowa, but not worthy of the top 10.
I like what Tank says, by the way. In order to get the Cyhawk football game out of the top 10, you threatened to go lock yourself in your bedroom.
Yeah, I got a bad text from my wife yesterday.
Sometimes you say things that takes all the air out of my lungs. Did you hear
I'm
that?
still sleeping alone.
Are you really, dude?
Yeah, it's fine. I actually sleep better. And I think she does too. This was a hard one because it was you had number 10 against number 11. But the Iowa State women beating the Iowa women, honorable mention.
We thought Travis just hated women and women's sports. Turns out he just hates Iowa State.
Not true.
Top 10, I keep saying again, it's like the football game. I keep saying top 10 matchup. I think at the time it was number 10 versus number 11. Right? Either way. Great matchup, undefeated teams, lived up to the hype, fantastic game. Iowa State with a big win, continues their undefeated season. I thought that was a top 10 moment. And it again was, we had a good discussion about some of these that were right on the verge of being there. And we had to sneak them out to shoehorn a few others in.
Iowa State says no to a bowl game.
I thought that would have been a bigger one. It's another one that's right there. Like, I could have justified every one of these being in the top 10.
Yeah, you could make an argument, but when you start making the arguments for our top 10, you go, okay.
That really, it's hard. And with that one, it wasn't even the biggest it wasn't even the biggest Iowa State sports story of that weekend. In fact, it was third.
You're right.
It was the third biggest sports story of that weekend.
And that's probably why we kicked it out.
Yeah.
Right? It was like, okay. And saying no to a bowl game which was significant, something I never say Iowa State would do. But now that you see what has happened at Iowa State, you go, oh, okay. Now we know why you said no to a bowl game. Real quickly.
Go ahead. Good. Sorry.
Mick wants to know if I sleep in the master bedroom or the spare bedroom. I sleep in the master bedroom, Mick. I sleep in the master bedroom.
Hey, Trav.
Yeah?
You're not helping yourself.
I know. You don't have to remind me on a daily basis, right? A couple of people are going to probably laugh at this one, and it didn't get serious contention for the top 10, but it's the World Shot Put Series comes to the Drake Relays. It was a brand new event, and a reminder that Blake Bolden, who's been on the show, is continually trying to improve one of the premier track events in the United States. Outside the Olympics, you have the Penn Relays, you have the Kansas Relays, you have what they do up in Oregon, but Drake Relay is still one of the most premier track and field events in the nation, and Blake is always trying to find a way, and last year it was bringing the World Shot Put Series to the Drake Relays. Again, honorable mention, didn't get real consideration for the top 10, but we thought it would be mentioned. One that Ross was not prepared for, and maybe we didn't put it in the top 10 because Justin didn't know who this person was, and outside of Des Moines or Central Iowa, probably not that big of a story. But Sam Burnaby stepping down as general manager of the Iowa Cubs is a big deal. He'd had that job since 1986. He started with the I-Cubs in 1983. You're talking 42 years working in minor league baseball, seeing some of the biggest changes in minor league baseball history. And that was a big story.
Spending 40 years constantly repositioning himself into a position of authority in minor league baseball. I mean, yes. He is just such a well-respected guy. Yeah, that was one that if we were really going to just do Des Moines and like impact on Des Moines, Sam Burnaby, that's a big one. I spent my childhood down there at Sec Taylor Stadium. Every game I went to, Sam Burnaby was standing there on that concourse. And we'd go over and we'd thank him and say hi. And he was as much a part of the Iowa Cubs as Sec Taylor Stadium. So that was a big one to me. I would have been okay with that one being in our top 10 just because it's an impactful story for Des Moines. It means a lot to me personally. And I really like Sam.
But when I threw that up there, you're like, oh, I forgot it. And that's what I'm going to try to do this year in 2026 is when I know a big story hits is to write it down so we really keep track of these stories. We were doing kind of a scrambling.
I got one into the top 10 that when I mentioned it, you both were like, oh yeah, kind of forgot about that.
Yeah.
Kind of forgot that was a 2025 story. Like our chat is going to be great at this. S. Williams says Knoxville Nationals not on the list. It's a yearly event, so it kind of loses. We just kind of move it down a little bit because it does happen every year. It's not exactly like it's one moment where everybody kind of stops and goes, "Oh wow, this is." I don't know. So no, I didn't make the list. Sorry,
somebody asked earlier, NASCAR coming to Iowa Speedway. That was year number 2 for NASCAR, wasn't it? That wasn't the first year.
No, this was
I thought it was year number 2. Because if it was year number 1,
I mean, we did NASCAR in Iowa was on our honorable mention, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't.
See, again, these are the things I told you we're going to miss some where we're going to be like, oh, crap.
Because honest to God, Ross, I thought about it, but I'm like, well, it was year number 2.
Second year for NASCAR mix.
Yeah. So, and that's why I'm like, they're coming back for a third year. Year number 1 would have been a big deal. That would have been a top 10 because that's a major league sport taking place in the state of Iowa.
I did. I would have. NASCAR should have been an honorable mention. I went up to that. I had a great time. That was maybe one of my, not maybe. That was one of my sports highlights of the year. Was going over to Newton for the NASCAR race.
Another one that had a lot of debate was Joe Woodley going to Drake and winning the 3rd consecutive PFL championship. And we kind of looked at the top 10 and we're like, okay, in the grand scheme of things, it was a big deal that Drake hired him, but he also
us.
Yeah, we had to kind of take the personal emotion out of it and understand it's a big story. We're going to mention it on our honorable mention show, which we're doing right now, but just outside the top 10. But Joe did a hell of a job. One that got vetoed right away, pissed me off. We didn't even really have a discussion about it, was The Rush with Travis and Ross starts an online radio show. I thought it was number 1. I did. I thought, this is number 1, guys. And Justin and Ross look at me like, you are such a narcissist. Look at you, not even jumping in on the conversation. You don't even want to give yourself a ribbon.
Honorable mention.
Jerk. No, but in all seriousness, the people who join the chat every day, who listen on the stream, we appreciate it. We appreciate you coming back every single day.
How about this, Trav? This might lead into to some of your stuff here because Driftless Iwan wrote in and I'd say those JUCO Natties deserve top 10.
They are on Iowa Western winning the JUCO National Championship is an honorable mention. This is where we start with. There's 2 we had pretty strong debates on.
Yeah.
And that was Iowa Western winning the JUCO National Championship. Big story. Third or 4th national title for Scott Strohmeyer. Scott Strohmeyer was on the show the day of the game.
The personal story of 2025 is probably the individual story of the year in the state of Iowa. I mean, losing his daughter early in the year and then going on to win the national title. It's just it's an incredible story.
But a couple things that pushed us off the ledge is that, a lot of people, and we're glad we were able to inform you about Iowa Western and tell you about it. But, even after we did the interview with Scott Strohmeyer, people were like, where's Iowa Western at?
Yeah.
And the fact that we had to tell you that it was in Council Bluffs kind of shows you the level of importance of what that is. So that was a pretty strong, and so was this one. And that was Grandview winning its 2nd straight national title in NAIA football.
With a new coach as well.
With a brand new coach. And we sat there and talked about it. We're like, okay, they didn't lose a lot of players. They inherited a pretty good team. They won the national title the year before. Is the 2nd straight worthy of an Iowa top 10? Huge story, big story, much like Iowa Western was. But then we started looking at the other list, and trust me, there's 2 on the list tomorrow that people are going to be pissed.
What the hell? You didn't put Grandview winning back-to-back national titles on, but you put that on? It was hard.
It was.
Don't hate us. Hate Travis.
This is our list. But you guys you and Justin were both on board with the 2 that people are going to go.
Absolutely. And every one of the top 10s, I think we can justify why they're in the top 10. Dude, lots of these. We could have justified a lot of these stories being in the top 10.
And our last one, again, this was in no particular order. Our last one is Nick Mitchell leaving Grandview. And again, outside of maybe Des Moines, outside the wrestling circles, a lot of people may not know who Nick Mitchell is, but the number of national titles he lost, the timing of when Nick left, he was on the show right after he retired. A significant blow, not blow because Grandview's still winning, but just the time and the way he built up that wrestling program at Grandview, spectacular. And the timing for change came at a weird time, but it also kind of guaranteed that nobody was going to bolt, because you do it in the summer, then you have wrestlers going, I'm in the transfer portal. I'm
Yeah.
getting out of here.
Yeah.
You do it right before the season starts.
And, a tip of the cap to our buddy Troy Plummer. Lost a football coach, didn't miss a beat. Lost a wrestling coach who's going to be in their athletic hall of fame and didn't miss a beat. Grant Henderson took over that program, former national champion, wrestler for Nick Mitchell, and they have just continued to roll. So, we always give a pat on the back to Brian Harden. We always give a pat on the back to Jamie Pollard. We've done that for Beth Getz. What Troy did over on the east side of Des Moines here in this last year is exceptional as well. So congratulations to everybody over there.
So that was our honorable mention. And a couple that came up, Ross, the NASCAR coming back to Iowa. Well, I can give that an honorable mention.
Yep.
But that was year number 2. And you're right with Knoxville. Not taking anything away from Knoxville. We love the Nationals. We love the wing sprint cars. But again, that's a yearly thing. I mean,
Jay just wrote in one again for a local story, the ISU cross country story. That was when that was one that was flying around with some people wondering what was going on. Somebody wanted to know if we put Ian Roberts on our top 10 story. We did not. I spent a lot of time boring you guys with that. Sorry.
And it wasn't a sports story.
That's right.
Justin, did you have fun being part of the conversation yesterday? Did you
I
feel like a
loved
team
it.
member?
Yeah, I did. I was someone.
I'm somebody.
No, I thought it was great. I thought it was fun. I liked our debates we had. I actually have a correction for you guys today.
Ooh.
Yeah, because you said Iowa State beat Iowa and Ames for the first time since 2014. It was 2011.
2011.
Exact date. Or exact year, I should say.
Oh, damn. We should have put it in the top 10.
We told you.
That was the triple overtime game between Iowa State and Iowa. That was the last time Iowa State won.
Iowa State quarterback at that. Oh my gosh.
Steele Jantz.
Steele Jantz. I knew it was an awesome name.
Yeah.
I couldn't come up with it. Good job. I watched that game at a Buffalo Wild Wings in Phoenix, Arizona.
You remember where Ross remembers where he was?
I do. We were down there for our friend Drew and Monique's wedding. And that I remember, yeah. And I was the only Hawkeye fan they were out, and I just had to sit there and bite my tongue. How's this game in overtime? How's this game in 4 overtimes? How'd they lose this game?
And then I have a fun. I was at the Drake game last night.
Yeah. What time did you get out of there? 11 o'clock?
Yeah.
Dude, they shot 78% in the second half. 78%.
He says, I know. I was watching.
That was tough. And then, I was on with Andrew Downs and Jake Brand on their show
I saw their buckets.
with Iowa Everywhere, which was fun. And one of the first things I previewed on that show was man, the turnover game's going to be huge. Both of these teams struggle with turning over the ball. I guess that doesn't matter. You turn them over 23 times. It was tough.
And Drake had 10 steals last night?
Yeah. No, the defensive intensity in that first half was some of the best we've seen from Drake all year. But
let me I'm going to ask you a pointed question because you watch a lot more Drake basketball than Ross and I do. Are they not very good?
Man, it's a tough question to answer. No, they're not to the level we hoped they'd be at, is the answer. Yeah. But you do see the progress. And I know it's a cheap cop-out, but you do see progress where you're seeing the post players start playing up to higher competition. I mean, Chase Walker was out of that game for the entire first half. Drake did a really good job of guarding one of the conference's best. And then the second half, just Illinois State went out there and adjusted, and Drake didn't respond well, which was the most concerning part because we had seen this team. They had lost by their largest margin of loss was 9 points to LSU and to Murray State. Those are good teams. And last night was the first time we saw this team just not respond well.
Well, in the 56 a season low, right? 56 points a season low for points.
Yeah.
So.
No, it was tough. But I do like what you and Ross say, though, when you talk about Drake of, do you want to win these games? Would it be great to hoist up another regular season championship title banner? Absolutely. These are building blocks to what really matters in St. Louis. So you're seeing improvement. You just want those wins to follow.
Is Coach Henderson, is his... Man, he's such an optimistic guy. He kind of has this like little spark. Yeah. Is that starting to fade a little bit?
On some fans, yeah.
Yeah.
He means personally. I mean, do you notice the body language changes?
Yeah. Are you noticing his body language change? Are you noticing him start to not be as smiley and bright and okay, good.
No, I haven't.
Good.
I haven't yet with him. No.
All right.
No. And last night.
That'd be concerning if it was happening in December.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if I think if they're still playing like this in late February, and you start to see it, that's not a concern. I would be concerned if you said because I'd be like, oh, good, because he needs it. He's going to need that optimism. It's going to carry him a long ways.
And honestly, as someone covering the team, I really respect his honesty. I mean, I've asked him questions about. There was Braden Applehans. There was a lot of questions about why he wasn't in the starting lineup or not even playing a whole lot of minutes. And he was honest about, hey, I expect our players to play both sides of the floor, and he's great on offense. He needs to improve defensively. And then these last 2 games, he's gotten more minutes, and you've seen that improvement on the defensive side of the ball. So he's been very honest with everyone covering the team, and I respect that. It does suck because I really like Henderson. I like the way he's energetic.
Yeah.
And just the wins aren't following. And Trav, you mentioned it earlier in today's show about how it's going to be tough to keep fans coming to the Knapp Center 8:00 games if you're not pulling out these wins. And then this was concerning too to another level because this is stacking yourself up against the conference best. I mean, this was a preseason favorite. You're kind of saying, all right, we're in our final week of 2025. Where do we rank with the best? And
you're ways
got
away.
Blown out.
Yep.
All right, Justin, you going to join us all day tomorrow?
You want me to come all day?
You were part of that top 10. We can just sit here because we're going to.
I'd be down.
Basically, I'm kind of mapping out the 2 hours for the top 10 and maybe a little Iowa preview tomorrow because we do have the Black and Gold Rush after the whatever bowl game Iowa and Vanderbilt are playing. Something like that.
The Outback Bowl.
The bowl game.
The bowl game.
Formerly known as the Outback Bowl.
That's what it is. Is Outback Steakhouse even around anywhere? They closed the one where I'm at.
There's still
still one in West Des Moines. Yeah.
All right, we'll see everybody tomorrow. It's the Rush Radio Top 10 of 2025 tomorrow starting at 6 a.m. Don't miss it. It's the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
Start spreading the news, cause it's time to buy booze, and there's only one place to be. You can see all your friends, the good times never end unless you're just loitering. It's Central City. We can make your dreams come true. No guarantee your dreams will come true. Central City. All this booze is waiting for you. Look at all this booze.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bobby here at Willis Volvo Cars. Costco is back for the holidays, up to $2,000 off select vehicles. There's $3,000 in winter savings. There is so many great programs. There are such great lease incentives. You got to get down here and check it out. So check us out online at willisvolvocars.com or stop on down to the showroom. Great selection, great people. You'll be glad you did.
Gift giving. It happens to the best of us.
Thanks, I think.
But what if I told you there's a better way? Toss the silly socks and ditch the mediocre mugs because the Iowa Lottery's gift that keeps on winning is here to save the holidays. Give your loved ones holiday scratch tickets with a chance to win instantly or unwrap your share of $1 million. Say no, no, no to boring presents with the Iowa Lottery this holiday season.
Woohoo!
Enter and see rules at ialottery.com/VIP.
'Tis the season to share great taste. Grab a refreshing Coca-Cola and make every moment a celebration. Locally made, nationally loved, Coca-Cola is the real deal when it comes to holiday cheer. Whether you're kicking back after the game or hosting the crew, nothing hits like that crisp, fizzy taste. Make this season yours. Grab an ice-cold Coca-Cola today.
Missing a quality, home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make. Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
Every business has priorities, and Priority One Heating and Cooling is no different. As a service provider, we prioritize quality air conditioners and furnaces that will keep your home at your comfort level year-round. As a small business, we prioritize doing things the right way and treating people fairly. As a truly local business, we prioritize our community. As a veteran-owned business, we prioritize duty and commitment. For big business service with local value, trust your home to the place where you are always Priority One.
Back to the rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.